Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. If you're new here, welcome. We hope you'll consider subscribing. And everyone else, thank you for coming back to watch this episode of Stress Management and Parkinson's Disease. We will look at stress from a few different points of view, and I'm hoping we can find some things along the way that will help us. We really do have a lot of exciting information in this video to get to, so let's get right to it. Michael J. Fox once said, "I happen to be a Parkinson patient. I'm not fearful of my condition or of the future, but if someone is looking in my eyes for fear, then they will see their own fear reflected back at them." I wish I could be as fearless as Michael J. Fox, but sometimes I gotta be honest with you guys. Sometimes I'm fearful of my own condition. The dementia-like symptoms kind of make me a little fearful, just because I don't want to hurt anyone. That's really my fear. My fear is I'm going to hurt the ones around me that I love the most because of my Parkinson's symptoms, and that's what I'm really worried about doing. So yes, I can't be as fearless as Michael J. Fox, and I really do appreciate his wisdom in his words. But for me, sometimes I am fearful of things that can happen. And also often I'm not really able to look at the world as I used to. Right? I can feel that the synthetic dopamine that we take, which I'm very, very grateful for, is just a little bit different. So to me, sometimes reality is a little bit skewed, and I'm not able to identify stressful situations or deal with them in the ways that I'm used to dealing with them. I just want to read you something here from Psychology Today. A stressful event, whether it's the sudden appearance of a snake on a path or the fear of losing your job when the boss yells, triggers a cascade of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol, that surge through the body. These hormones increase heartbeat and the circulation of blood to support quick action, mobilize fat and sugar for immediate energy, focus attention to track the danger, prepare muscles for movement, and more. But this life-saving response was meant to solve short-term, life-threatening problems, not extended difficulties such as daily traffic jams or marital problems. A few of the many challenges that can hijack the stress response today. I really can see where Psychology Today is going with this. Stress was never meant to be a long-term thing or meant to happen every day, like a severe stressful reaction. But that's what I experienced in my last year or so of full-time employment at the overhead door company. I would get up in the morning and the stress would just come in and overwhelm me. In the long run, I made it through, and I'm very grateful for that. Eventually I would relax, but sometimes that would be near the end of the day. It could be like 6 to 8 hours before the stress finally would start, falling off of me. And that's the thing. I don't think we were ever meant to be in a stress circle. I just made that up, stress circle, that Psychology Today was talking about. And Psychology Today goes on to say that short bursts of stress aren't inherently harmful, although it can take time for the body to calm down. Yet prolonged or repeated arousal of the stress response can have harmful physical and psychological consequences. Those repercussions include ailments from heart disease, diabetes, to anxiety and depression. Stress was never meant to take over. So how can we get back to that restful state that Michael J. Fox is talking about, where we're not scared of anything like the present or the future? Well, what I believe, and the number one thing, in my opinion, that I would do is look at what stress can do to our brains, like over long-term exposure. A little while ago, I put a video out called Glutathione and Parkinson's Disease, and in that video, I talked about what large amounts of oxidative stress and harmful free radicals can do to the substantia nigra, our dopamine-producing parts of our brain. The oxidants and free radicals just pound the heck out of it. And if we don't do something to protect that parts of our brain with glutathione, we are just leaving ourselves defenseless and open to repeated attacks by stress, oxidative stress, and harmful free radicals. I encourage you to check out that video when you're done here, and at the end of this video, I'll put a link up here somewhere, and when you're done here, you can jump over there to check it out. Okay, next section. The English actress Helen Mirren said, "Parkinson's is a slow but inevitable process. It's hard living with it on a daily basis. The difficulty facing people with it is that they never quite know, can I or can't I do this today?" And I love this quote from Helen Mirren, because that's a question I ask myself many times when I get up in the morning and I go to my day timer and I make my list of things to do today. It's like, will I be able to do all of them? And sometimes I ask myself, will I even be able to do half of them? It's like, I don't really know the answer to that question. I hope I'll be able to do some of them. And I totally relate to her here because to me, that's how Parkinson's is really, really like. It really, really is. It's like when you draw a line in the sand and you dare Parkinson's, just step over this line. And then Parkinson's does, so you back up a little bit and then you draw another line in the sand and do the same thing. Step over this line, I dare you. And it does. And then you keep going back and back and back until you've got no more room left to retreat. And so then you fight back. Like, boom, 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 boom. Get away from me, Parkinson's. But you're never able to fight it back to where you started. It's always a little bit farther back. And then the process happens over again and over again and over again. Helen's right. It's a process that we can't totally eliminate, but we can do something along the way to help us. Heck, we can do something. Can't we? If anybody finds this situation as frustrating as me, raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, you over there, you're not raising your hand, and I know you should be. One of the main issues for me is when stress leads to anxiety. And I know misery loves company, and bad thoughts love bad thoughts even more. And this is where what I call the shame spiral begins. The American Parkinson Disease Association says that, in addition to stress, people with Parkinson's disease may experience anxiety as part and parcel of their PD itself, caused by chemical imbalances in the brain. Anxiety is a very common non-motor feature of Parkinson's, and it is often accompanied by depression. Yay! Anxiety can also fluctuate through the day, along with dopamine levels, with anxiety experienced most acutely during off periods. Anxiety is fueled by internal forces and can persist when all external causes of stress have been reduced. It is often difficult for a person with PD to separate out stress and anxiety because practically they may manifest in indistinguishable ways. Both stress and anxiety can cause excessive worry, poor sleep, and inattention, as well as physical symptoms such as rapid heart rate, trouble breathing, sweating, and headaches. I'm just wondering, I don't have the education to solve this, but I'm wondering if Psychology Today and the American Parkinson Disease Association are really on the same pathway. Are they talking about the same thing? Are they talking about a chemical imbalance of a loss of glutathione? Well, I don't know for sure, but I strongly suspect that they might be. Okay, I think that because in the video I put out a little while ago, Glutathione and Parkinson's disease, researchers who were doing autopsies on people who died with Parkinson's disease and other neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's or dementia found that in the substantia nigra portions of the brain, their glutathione levels were like 0 or near 0. And as you'll find in the video, glutathione is a powerful, powerful antioxidant that we need in our brains to protect our brains. Anxiety can put our brains under substantial oxidative stress attack, along with harmful free radicals, and do so much damage to our brains. Okay, Psychology Today goes on to talk about chronic stress. Chronic stress can be difficult to spot, as it can emerge in the absence of a severe or acute incident. Different factors, such as a disrupted sleep schedule, feeling perpetually undervalued, and not having close relationships with friends or family members can all independently contribute to chronic stress. And chronic stress is very harmful over the long term. And it just makes me think about the time I got called to the top of a ski hill in the middle of a blizzard in winter to come and fix this massive bay door that was stuck like halfway open. And it was one of those like vertical lift doors that goes just straight up and straight down. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to fix this? And I had my son with me at the time, so I had to act like, oh yeah, I can do this. But inside I was like, oh, I wish I had some help. Because I had to climb up. Thankfully there was a platform that made it up to the same level of the springs. So I had to climb behind the springs and lay on this girder, like flat on my stomach, and like fix the cables on this bay door. And the only thing that was holding me back from rolling out was the posts from the top of the door frame to the ceiling. So I had to lay down, lean over, and like feel it. I couldn't see what I was doing. I had to feel the whole thing. And thankfully I didn't drop anything, which to me was a major miracle. But by the time I finished and I crawled back down onto the platform, I was shaking all over like a tree in the wind. And I didn't connect with it at the time that was tremors due to Parkinson's stress. But this was years, 5, 6 years before any of us suspected that something was wrong with me. Okay, last part of the video. George H.W. Bush said, "I have a form of Parkinson's disease that I do not like. My legs don't move when my brain tells them to. It's very frustrating." Okay, I love this quote because it just explains my life so much. Like when I'm off, my legs don't move. I have a lot of trouble with my legs. It's evolved to that point, and it can be so frustrating because it's just like I just want to walk to the bathroom and go pee. George, I'm there with you, and I totally get it. The science of Parkinson's disease says that research suggests that people who undergo tremendous emotional stress may have a higher risk of developing Parkinson's disease. To deal with these problems, the Parkinson Foundation says that be open and honest about what you're going through. Talk about your emotions with someone you trust rather than isolating yourself. Talk to your doctor. If you are having difficulty regulating your emotions, healthcare professionals can recommend medical treatments. Consider counseling for you or your loved ones. Counseling sessions, alone, as a couple, family, or in a group, can provide support and understanding and education. There are a lot of different types of counselors. Find the one that works for you. Join a support group where you can share your experience with people on a similar journey. Okay, those are all good solutions, but one thing that helps me when I do really get stressed out is I love getting back to nature. I just love connecting with nature, getting out into the wild, alone as much as possible from other people, and just letting it just burn off. Because I believe we all need to find an outlet where we can let off our stress. So if there's something that you love to do that you used to do, try and connect with it in some sort of way. I know that everyone can't do what I'm doing, but if there's a park nearby that you can go to or someone can take you, I know it's hard to get out for a lot of people. So if there's just something that you can do, something you can connect with that you used to do in just at least some sort of fashion, just give it a go. You might find it helps relieve a little bit of stress, and that would make me very happy for you. Another main part of my life that I'm very, very grateful for is Haley. She helps me on a daily basis deal with stress, understanding what's going on if I'm having trouble, just, seeing why the stress is happening. It doesn't happen all the time, but I just want to let her know I'm very, very grateful for you, sweetheart. You help me so very much. And let's all try to remember to thank our spouses, our partners, and our caregivers today. I think that is a very important thing to do. Now that we're near the end of the video, the link to the glutathione and Parkinson's disease video is somewhere around here. When you're done here, I'll see you over there. And as always, thank you for taking this journey together. Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing this channel with your family and friends. Leave a comment or a question below. I will see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.